Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from. The county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Today is Kimbi Kimbi. The Gen Zs have called for the occupation of CBD. I don't know the situation where you are, but in Kisumu right now, this is the situation. All shops are literally closed. This is a silent revolution. I know later on, maybe after midday, probably, we might see Gen Zs on the street. We might see Gen Zs on the street. But one thing we must now accept is that Raila Odinga can call for an gazetted holiday. The second group that can do that are the Gen Zs. But I don't want to talk about that right now. I'll come with another analysis later today. In this video, I want us to talk about a bombshell that was dropped yesterday by Ahmednassir Abdulahi, the senior counsel. He talked about something which I've been hearing along the corridors of power. Ahmednassir called for the dissolution of UDA government for government of national unity. Let me read for you what Ahmednassir Abdulahi posted yesterday. President William Ruto needs to dismiss UDA government and form a government of national unity, accommodating all Kenyans. That is what Ahmednassir Abdulahi Senior Counsel posted. Let me just dissect that tweet very briefly. He's saying President Ruto needs to dismiss UDA government. Why should President William Ruto dismiss UDA government? That is the biggest question. Because you all know that Ahmednassir Abdulahi is one of the key people who has been supportive of William Ruto's government and UDA government. The question is why the change of heart? And is proceeding and form a government of national unity. Of course, I agree with him that William Ruto should dismiss UDA government. But on the formation of government of national unity, I don't think the Gen Zs will hear anything of the sort. Because for them, they are calling for William Ruto to go. Ruto must go is their rallying call. And of course, he's also adding here that accommodating all Kenyans, that if William Ruto were to form government of national unity, then it's going to accommodate all Kenyans. So the question is, when William Ruto formed government, was it accommodative enough? Or is he trying to say that the current government is not a reflection of the face of the country called Kenya? So in this video, I want us to do a critical analysis about the tweet by Ahmednassir Abdulahi. But before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. Just like I was telling you, I've been paying very close attention and getting a lot of whispers within the corridors of power. Even before the issue of the finance bill came up, that William Ruto has been contemplating with the idea of forming government of national unity. That according to sources, he wanted to form that government of national unity with Raila Odinga. And that some members, some allies of Raila Odinga were going to join the government. Some people from Azimio. And that William Ruto wanted to effect some changes in the cabinet. But of course, you know, in politics, a lot of intrigues normally take place. So Uhuru Kenyatta was not comfortable with that idea. And of course, I'm also told that one of the people William Ruto really targeted for appointment in his government, Kalonzo Musyoka, was also opposed to the idea of forming the government of national unity because he believes they can form the next government. I don't know what you think, but for me, I also don't think that forming government of national unity will save William Samoei Arap Ruto. But the biggest question is, why do you think Ahmednassir Abdulahi, a man who is the face of William Ruto online, a lawyer of high standing, a close ally of William Ruto, a man, I'm just going through his Twitter, his Twitter account, a man who has 2.4 million followers on Twitter, saying something like this. Why do you think he's making that recommendation? Probably he has also heard the whispers. This is a man who is well connected within the intelligence system. If you want to sometimes get certain things the way they are moving, just pay very close attention to what this guy tweets. So which means probably he's been sent to tell Kenyans what to expect, and also for the government to read and figure out the opinion of Kenyans on this particular matter. And probably that is the truth. So before we get into all those details, allow me to take this opportunity to thank the following people. You are seeing their names on the screen there for the coffee which they sent to me earlier today, because it goes a long way in supporting this channel. You can also do the same using the numbers you are seeing on your screen. Ladies and gentlemen, why do you think there is this call? Because it's there for William Ruto to form government of national unity. Number one, it is an acknowledgement on the part of those who are supportive of this government, people like Ahmednassir Abdulahi Senior Counsel, that UDA government has actually failed Kenyans. And that is the truth. If you are honest, I mean, if President William Ruto had honest people around him, they would tell him that in the face of Kenyans, UDA government has failed, and it has failed big time. UDA government has failed in terms of corruption. The main reason why Gen Zs are on the street is because of corruption. UDA government made promises to Kenyans. They are yet to achieve a single promise. Or if you know any promise which William Ruto made to Kenyans and they've achieved it, please let me know. Kenyans have lost trust in the government. So what do you do in that situation? Government of national unity. Because William Ruto has the opportunity. In fact, William Ruto has been granted the best opportunity to fire corrupt government officials, to fire I don't know how to describe them. Those people who are just in government because they are friends to the president. Maybe because they funded the president. This is the moment. And William Ruto can take this opportunity to replace them with more credible people. I don't know whether forming a government of national unity will solve that, but this is the time they are now acknowledging that indeed there is a problem. Number two, William Ruto needs to restore stability in his government. After the demonstrations, after the protest, the truth is the government is very unstable. William Ruto has one big fear. The fear that some people somewhere are plotting to overthrow his government. That is William Ruto's biggest fear. It could be true or false, but remember, William Ruto is the president of the Republic of Kenya. And as the president of the Republic of Kenya, he has access to intelligence. And if you've been studying, the people who are now doing the bidding for the government online, they are also trying to advance a narrative that there were plans to remove William Ruto from office. And that can explain why William Ruto decided to deploy the KDF in the streets. That fear. And let us call a spade a spade. William Ruto's fear is that Uhuru Kenyatta is planning to overthrow his government. William Ruto's government fear, based on what they are posting online, is that Rigathi Gachagua is working very closely with Uhuru Kenyatta to overthrow the government. I call it a fear because Uhuru Kenyatta, in my view, is silent since William Ruto took over. And there is a way William Ruto is justified to fear Uhuru Kenyatta. This is a man who was a president. This is a man who is very wealthy. All of a sudden, is just silent there. So, if you go to Robert Alai's tweets today, yesterday, you go to Mutai, it's Mutai. Those are the people doing the bidding for the government. You will clearly see they are advancing a narrative of a coup. So, by bringing in Raila Odinga, for example, in government, you're bringing in stability. Because remember, William Ruto's government was formed on the account of two main tribes, the Kikuyu nation and the Kalenjin nation. And now we are talking of the Kikuyu nation leaving William Ruto. Do you think William Ruto's government can be stable if half of the people who voted for him are now not with him? It can't be stable. So that's why they are planning, or that's why there's that particular talk. Number 3 is the legitimacy of the government to rule. William Ruto has always suffered this legitimacy issue. When he was declared the president, most people up to now believe that he never won. And that's comported by the fact that after winning the presidency, William Ruto lost a lot of support. And the other thing is that Kenyans no longer trust the three arms of government. Kenyans no longer trust the executive, which is led by William Ruto, his cabinet, and everybody working for the government. Nobody trusts them. So that's legitimacy issue. The other arm of government is parliament. Most Kenyans believe that the parliament is captured by the executive. So which means if they've lost hope in the executive and the executive has captured parliament, it means they've also lost hope in parliament. And that can explain why the Gen Zs decided to go and occupy parliament to send that message. So I hope up to that point I'm clear. Then again, you go to the judiciary. Of course, let me just take you back a bit. When after the first demo, Kenyans went and invaded parliament and occupied it. The next day, very early in the morning, parliamentarians were in parliament. William Ruto called them at night. That is what we are talking about. The capture. Now we have the third arm, which is the judiciary. Again, in the eyes of Kenyans, the judiciary is also compromised. So which means Kenyans no longer have trust and faith in government as a whole. Not only executive, but the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. And that's the fact. So by forming a government of national unity, William Ruto hopes that he will be able to win back the confidence of Kenyans. If there's one thing William Ruto needs to do, is to try and win back the confidence of Kenyans. Number 4, William Ruto is also trying to use the government of national unity, in case he's planning it, to redeem his image, both locally and internationally. When William Ruto came into power, he rode into power through populist ideas. He made promises, and most of his supporters were actually optimistic that he was going to be a very good president. What is the situation right now? Mutai Ngunyi conducted an opinion poll. In that opinion poll, the results shocked me. And even William Ruto himself, I know if he followed the opinion poll by Mutai Ngunyi, he was also shocked. So the truth, without lying, is that the image is no longer there. At the international platform where William Ruto has emerged as the blue-eyed man of the US and the Western powers is now being exposed. How the police are dealing with the demonstrators in Kenya. So his image internationally is also being affected in a very big way. While he had actually worked hard, let's talk fact, William Ruto had worked hard to create a very good image and position for himself. Whether most of you agree with it or not, it's not the fact here. The fact is he had managed to emerge as the face of Africa on international platform. But now the image is gone. So by forming government of national unity, there's a chance that that will be able to redeem his image. The US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, has disappeared since the Gen Zs started protesting. Why do you think she has disappeared? And of course, lastly, the investors' confidence. You know, a lot of things, a lot of corruption were happening in the Republic of Kenya. I was just reading in the dailies today that you remember that consignment of free fertilizer from Russia, which came into the country. Of course, the government sold it, but it came into the country. Before landing here, the ship left with, I think, 4,000 tons, metric tons. That's huge, of fertilizer. A lot of it disappeared in high sea, which means someone took another smaller ship, they offloaded some of the fertilizers. So by the time the fertilizers were landing in Kenya, some had already been stolen. So the face of corruption in Kenya is really affecting William Ruto. So for him to assure investors that you can invest in Kenya, it's stable, people will not be demonstrating against finance bill, he has to form government of national unity. I'm not so sure whether William Ruto will heed to the advice by the senior council. But until that time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.